When you go to sleep at night, there is a lot of things happening that you don't get to see.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I'm just awake.
Where are we going?
Actually, I go to the place for the on watch. I'm on the place on watch by the 4 to 8, 4 in the morning until 8 o'clock in the morning. Good morning. So very early for you, huh?
No.
The tech department organization is a very structural organization. You have the staff captain, which is in charge of the tech department, the head of the department, and then it's divided between 3 other persons: security, safety, and maintenance. Talking about the maintenance, we have the bosun, is the petty officer in charge of all the team. He actually has the biggest of the 3 of the teams. He's fully in charge of 35 sailors. Bosun team is again very organized, and it's well understood that the bosun is the person that actually decides what to do and how to do it. The bosun is on top. Underneath him, he has 2 second bosun, which are actually the real supervisor of all the jobs. Every single of them will be in charge of a group or one or more group of sailors.
My name is Rogelio C. Anabi Jr. and I started my career in Princess way back on 1998. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Marine Transportation and served as a second bosun on board Regal Princess. My job as a second bosun is to assist the bosun every daily task or job that he gives to the sailors. We are in total of 33 all in all. From bosun, 2 second bosun, 8 deck POs and heavy deck, and the remaining are sailors.
There is another team that are called the deck POs and AB decks. Those one actually they're mostly works for myself. It's more like the safety part of the sailor. Again, they're subdivided in 2 teams. Is the deck PO for the LSA, which is the life-saving appliances. They are all in charge of all the lifeboat, all the cabling of the lifeboat, everything regarding lifeboat, all the life jackets, all the equipment inside the lifeboat, life rings, everything that is regarding life saving.
My name is Aski Huliganga. I came from Philippines. I work as a deck PO. I worked on the Princess company as almost 15 years. My favorite things is the lifeboat maintenance, like lowering lifeboat, debit maintenance, painting and chipping, and inspection, monthly inspection of the life-saving equipment.
The team for arrival and departure is divided in two. There is the forward team and the aft mooring deck. The forward team is led by the bosun, and the second group, the aft team, is led by the second bosun.
To start the pump, which is behind on the forward mooring. So once the pump is open, port and starboard side, we are start opening the officer's platform. Every line sold.
Then there is the third team, is actually led by the other second bosun, and that is called the gangway party. Is actually the team that is rigging up all the gangway, all the brows, it all depends where we are, or is taking in the gangways if it's a shoreside gangway, it all depends where we are, and those ones are appointed just for the gangways. I would say that every single crew member is a key player on board the ship. Even if you seem sometimes, I don't know, that the high management are the most important one, to be honest, the high management are just choosing what to do, but who is doing actually the job and who is making the ship nice is the very lower team.
The quartermasters have a very highly important job up here on the bridge. We have a lot of equipment up on the bridge, but we still rely a lot on visual. Their eyes, you know, are very crucial to help us with navigating the ship, because obviously if they point out ships to us, we can take action and avoid collision with other ships.
All clear to starboard. Yes. Having to starboard.
You have a team of 6 of them that are coming up on the bridge every single day, 2 on the first watch, second and third watch. They basically are together with the watchkeepers, and those ones they just have navigational duty, plus they do a couple of hours of overtime to help the other sailors.
You know, this is also the quartermaster jobs. During we are in approaching to the port, so we have to go and steering. So we are on the wheel, you know, to steer the ships. We just follow order by the pilot, captain, or officers, however, who is the in charge of this of the ships.
What do you feel when you're steering?
It's very good because you know there is the steering on the right here is very small, unlike before. For example, like Titanic is a big wheel, you know, but here's the really it's very small.
But I would say that Caribbean Princess is very promising, especially because in the last few years we've been building a lot of ships and we have other ships that are coming out. So definitely the company will prize the people that are already in the company, and they will have the time, you know, to be promoted.
When I was a kid, I was thinking my father, he's a sailor as well, so maybe I idolize my father, and then I just follow his step as a seaman.
I'm very proud for being one of the crew member at Francis Cruises, especially on board Regal Princess.
There's a lot of bosun, but now they're starting to have a certain age, and it's about time for them to retire and get like new people up with a new idea of working, like, you know, very full of energy, that they want to prove that they are good.
I like it. Maybe that's my blood. I like action. Everything. I like to work everywhere. I want to, like, you know, I like to travel everywhere. I like travel. That's my ambition. I want to go every single place, you know, experience the adventure, everything.
There is a lot of space for improvement, and especially if you are a young person with a good English and with a lot of will, definitely you're gonna do well. You're gonna progress on the ship very quickly. We are very proud of our team on the Regal Princess. Most of them has been sailing with us since the ship was built. So they just went back home, back on board, and they're here right from the beginning, even before the ship was delivered to the Princess Cruises, when it was still under Fincantieri. You can see in them this feeling of pride. You can see the way they are working, that they keep the highest standard in the maintenance of the ship. It is very proud of having them on our team.
So you can really see how it's brought back to bare steel, or how it is at bare steel, and then they slowly add on to it. So here's your Princess Theatre. This is where you'll be coming to see all the shows. So this isn't obviously the roof at the moment, this is the support because the workers are working on the roof. But this is how deck 6 looks. And this is your stage, this is your actual stage, the bare back stale. And that's where your lift pit's going to be, where you can come up and down for all the dancers. It's quite cool, eh? What do you think? So deck 7, starboard side aft. This is the passenger area where you've got all the crew which will be operating the lifeboats and the MES station, but this is still a passenger deck where you can have all your sun chairs out and you can come all the way to the aft section of the ship. So it's all going to be wonderful little uppy decking with your shuffleboard. If you want to have a look at your balconies up here, you can see all your balconies. Pretty cool, I love it. And then we'll come over here to the aft section. So no official railings yet, but they're coming soon, so we've been promised. As you can see, we're currently on the outfitting dock, and we're just fitting in all of our radars and the moorings so we don't go anywhere. This is the dry dock that we came out of. So you can see just down here, that's where we were built. So that's where we were built, and then filled up with the water, the tugs pulled us out and put us onto this outfitting dock. And as you can see now, because we have no reason, we can free up the dock for construction for other vessels in Fincantieri. So now we're on the outfitting dock. This is when the magic happens, so to speak, and they start to turn us from a shell into a ship. So, and then when all the crew start to come, well, it's just go, go, go from there.
Regal Princess was built in Monfalcone, Italy, in a shipyard called Fincantieri. It's a shipyard that Princess Cruises has a long association with. Many of our ships have been built in the Fincantieri shipyard. They do such a spectacular job, and it does take quite a few years to put a ship like this together. Many, many man-hours from the Fincantieri yard, and of course from the shipboard crew members. And when the crew members start coming into Italy, when they start coming into Monfalcone, they don't move on board right away. They live in hotels or apartments or communities, and they go from their community or their apartment to the shipyard each and every day. And then eventually, when the ship is closer to the end of her construction, the crew will all move on board, which is a big celebratory day, and the work just continues. And actually, it's a 24-hour process. Work never stops when we're in the yard, from the dry dock to the wet dock, until that moment when we are on our way.
Actually, the process of a new building is very complicated, complex. You have Fincantieri building the ship. CCS is the team that are a group of inspectors by the Carnival Corporation, that they are follow the stage of a building, and they make sure that all the test memoranda, all the commissioning, they go through. So they are the legal part. Princess Cruise team, they coming, and we are like, I will say no observer, but we are part of owner, that we need to make sure that these two people, they do their job, and then when the ship will become Princess Cruise, when we own the ship, all these important thing has been done on the right way. So we will have less problem, we will have less, and then we will sail on safety condition. This is my first stage as executive member, as a staff engineer on my area, like the staff captain and all the other member of the executive office.
If you're talking about the safety of everybody on board is quite a big step forward to have a ship that's designed for safe return to port, which basically means that instead of needing to abandon the ship in the event of an emergency, we can convert the ship into one big massive lifeboat.
It was electrifying. People were extremely excited. There was a real buzz going on in the shipyard and on board prior to the crew actually moving on board. I think there's so much happening that we don't always realize the importance of every single department and what it takes to get crew members to the shipyard, to get them to move on board the ship and get ready for our first passenger cruise.
It is from a company and from a ship's, from the company point of view, and also for the ship management. It is important, first of all, to keep a balance within the fleet. We have an amazing crew with Princess, and of course the company and us, the shipboard management, tries to find a good balance to choose a team which has experience and some new people who come on the ship to open a new build and to maintain a very high standard. And then of course 2 new ships means a couple of thousand new crew members to find, to hire, to collect people from different ships, to select the right people, but to keep also the standard in the fleet very high. That's probably one of the main challenges.
When the crew are flown out to Italy and when we come into the shipyard, it's very exciting because it's a very different process than what we're normally used to. Now for us in the entertainment department, the singers, the dancers, the crew staff, bar staff, dining room, no matter what your job is, everybody pitches in and helps 110%. Whether we're helping out in our area or we might be helping out carrying furniture up that gangway, or we might be helping out in a guest stateroom. Everybody is hands-on and everybody is on the same page because we're all trying to get the ship ready for our guests to come on board.
And the new people, you can see from the face of them that they look like, be on the new house without furniture, and then they look like lost. But after a while, in generally, I see that most of the crew members they was know what they was supposed to do, because the key personnel on each other department they was already on the Royal, on the other new building, so there was give a distraction. There was inform the people on the important issue.
The shipyard setup is very, very different than when you come on a ship, which is, everything is running and you come and sit in your office and your phone is working and your computer. You come to a big piece of steel, which is put together within less than 2 years, and we touch the soul and the heart and the spirit with the crew and the living organism being on the ship into the ship. So setting up a ship is a big task, it's hard work. The crew works very much well with each other. To achieve this, works very, very hard. It doesn't matter what rank, what position, what nationality you have. Everybody has in a boiler suit and hands-on loads the ship and has one aim and one goal: to get the ship running and successful.
Sometimes you don't have air conditioning, sometimes you don't have water, sometimes you have to leave the ship for this emergency test during the time that you are in a new building. This ship is also a new ship, and then we have a safety to the port, so we conduct a lot of tests.
There's so much to do. There's just getting the stores on board. There's the training in people doing their jobs, understanding the layout of, if you're a waiter, you've got to understand where your table is in the restaurant, where to pick up the food in the galley. It doesn't matter what department you're in, you have to learn and understand your job. And then on top of that, of course, we've got the emergency duties. And I could see from the very first day people joining, I went every single day to meet the embarking crew on the day that they joined and try to explain the timeline and what the expectations were. And I could see from each and every group of people that joined that there was an expectation, there was a buzz and there was an excitement. And I think it almost became infectious towards the end. It was a wonderful thing to say, and it was a huge testament to the crew.
And people are getting dirty because they're really busy as they're running around morning, noon, and night. Remember, it's a 24-hour operation building a cruise ship, and even more so toward the end, because we're rushing and we're trying to get everything done within that safe manner. We're trying to get everything done for the launch date, because when that launch date comes and our guests are going to be coming up that gangway, we want that wow factor to be there. So there's a sense of real excitement for the crew members, and because it gives them a lot of pride being a part of something so big. And this is a monstrosity. You look at Regal Princess, she is a large ship. She's a gorgeous ship. And when you drive up, for me personally, when you drive up and you see Regal Princess sitting there in the yard, she's already in the water, and you see her, especially like in the evening with the lights on, she looks absolutely incredible. And you know what you're doing is going to make a difference in people's lives.
No, I have to say that compared to the Royal Princess, the Regal, compared to the Royal, the Regal was much ahead, and then there was not too much to do actually, and the team came all together, so it took actually only few days, to be ready actually, so it was actually, I have to say, easy task.
Well, I think there is always a huge amount of excitement as people build up to embarking the first passengers, and I don't think this ship was any different to that. I've been lucky enough to have done 5 new builds previously in different ranks. This is my first as captain, but we were very lucky in that the ship was being very well prepared by the shipyard, and I think we were quite nicely ahead of the game, and the crew, when they joined, could see and feel an end in sight and could see the probability and the expectation of embarking passengers on the date that we did, which was the 16th of May. And so the 16th of May became a goal and a target, and I think it kind of had an amount of buzz. This is the first ship that has ever embarked passengers the day after delivery of the ship, which is an enormous feat to manage.
We need to be a real consummate toast since from the beginning. We can, of course, we feel the pressure of a wonderful and perfect start, but since day one, our topic's priority is to be a perfect consummate toast.
It gives you enormous pride, because when you do this and when you're out here, because you know that you're making a difference in people's lives. People pay a lot of money to come out here, and we want to make sure that they're able to relax, they're able to enjoy. We take them to all different destinations around the world. Look at the ship that they're on. This ship is first class in capital letters all the way. And when you're part of a new build, it does make you feel amazing. And you could ask any crew member that was here in the shipyard, and they would probably all say the same exact thing.
Food, I think it's the most important thing in life, because without food you don't live. It's like your car, you don't put the gasoline, you cannot move. And the food is the same for us.
I don't know about being the most popular guy on board. I'd say the captain would be the most popular guy, but I'll take the credit anyway. Passengers are on board. I mean, they're basically up and about for 14, 15, maybe 16 hours a day. I think food is something they look forward to 3 or 4 times a day. I mean, providing 20,000 meals a day for an average cruise like this has its own set of challenges. The only time off really would be, say, maybe 2 hours in the afternoon between 2 and 4. But it's generally a 7-day-a-week, 14-hour working shift. So feeding 4,500 passengers and 1,300 crew, time off just doesn't happen.
I need to say Princess Cruise is one of the few cruise line in the business where they do everything from scratch. Yogurt, frozen yogurt, soup, sauce, from the little praline to the breadstick, everything is made on board.
In my position, you have to always be calm, especially the galley in the service time. There's a lot of shouting there. You have to stay on the top of the people working with you, so that you as a head chef, as a sous chef, You have to be model.
When you cook for 3,000 or 4,000 passengers, it's little pressure. There's one kitchen, it's only one family, one team, all working together.
Do this in your friend's house, don't do it in your house. When I born, I was already been in this business. My parents used to have a restaurant and I grew up there. And I did my education in Italy until 15. And then I moved to Paris and I finished my education in Paris with the École Culinaire Française Auguste Escoffier.
The first seed was sown when I was, oh my goodness, I go back as far as the age of 13 when I got my first boots in the door in hotels as a dishwasher. I started at the bottom level. And just really went from there. And at school, went into the home economics class, and I was one of two boys in those days that did cooking, which wasn't really the trendy thing to be done, but we did it and got through it. At 16, I was advised by my teacher to go into catering college just south of London, but I chose to join the British Army. So I did about 3 years with the British Army, attached to an infantry unit.
I joined the company as a first cook, and then I go up to be a sous chef. I become a chef on board. I was a chef on board of the old Royal Princess, the original Royal Princess until 1988. And then I become the master chef, and today I'm the culinary ambassador of Princess Cruise. I applied to be 6 months experience on board of the ship, and today is 2014, my 6 months in never end, I am still here.
Having traveled halfway around the world in hotels and then coming back to ships, I realized that hotels didn't really offer what I wanted, so whereas ships always did. I mean, with such a diverse workforce and such a large number to cater for, you're always kind of challenged on a daily basis. And again, working with so many different people from around the world, you're picking up different cultures as well, which helps kind of bolster the repertoire that you already have.
The cooking has been, for me, is like it's like from the childhood. It was there in me when the teacher used to ask me, like everybody, what you want to. I was showing my hand to become a cook.
Diwali Festival of Lights that we did the other day was we had a chat over a coffee one day, and then from a small snowball it just kind of escalated it and kind of got out of control in a way, because we just took over the entire piazza. To see the guys, it was their national holiday, it's their Indian Christmas, and to see Abdul, my sous chef, and the team around him kind of building it from the base level, working through the night, came back in the morning, the whole thing was taking shape, and then to see the food coming out, and then when that switch was flicked and the music came on, to see all their faces light up, because now they were demonstrating their holiday, their culture, and they were so proud, and it was just such a great feeling to see.
I participate in some culinary demonstration, for example, in the carving demonstration. My passion is make decoration for display.
Passengers probably seeing these artworks and these masterpieces on the buffets, like the ice carvings, the watermelon carvings, and even a lot of passengers coming to our chef table setup that we do maybe 4 or 5 times a week. They see the product there, but they never know how it's done. So actually to go to the demonstration, you know, I mean, it's just something they see forming in front of them. And I think it just kind of, it gives them that better understanding as what's involved in putting things out there on a daily basis.
The passengers, they love so much the food, especially here in Regal, they love the food very much.
Food is like the fashion. Every year you need to get something new. And then is the inventive, is the passion of the chef to add the different sauce, different spice. And in this moment, the most popular cuisine in the world is the fusion cuisine, you know, to get the world together. Our job is not a job to be a cook. To be a cook is an art. And the art, you need to feel it. It's not a job you go in the factory and the machine works for you. You just move things. not. To be a cook, you have 3 times a day the exam of yourself. You know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you produce something for somebody else.
Everything comes automatically. The work, you have to prove yourself and give you 100% to everything what you do, and the rest will come to you. It's the most important is that we see the binding of the people and more working together. That's very important to reach the higher goals. All the people working together, all the nationality working together and with the one goal. And it's nice to see in the Regal Princess we found that.
I think so when you do something, however is your job, you need to do with passion, with your heart. And then everything becomes simple. And ladies and gentlemen, buon appetito. Ora.